I'm going to go ahead and call to order the City Council meeting of Tuesday, August 26th at 6 p.m. Won't you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can I start with the roll call, please?
Westwood?
Here.
Conley?
Here.
Daniel?
Here.
Davis?
Here.
Ruth? Ruth?
You here?
Do I come after Ronnie?
No? Yeah?
I'm here.
Oh, yeah, you are. Oh, sorry. Ruth?
Yes.
I was just, what?
I'm here.
Wow.
All right, as
I'm
we
sorry.
take just a moment to regroup, I'll just also take this opportunity to remind anybody at the table as well as those in the audience to silence any devices if you have not done that yet. I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda as written.
All right, motion from Councilman, I know it's cheat sheet I forgot to bring tonight. Motion
I'll
from
second.
Councilmember Conley, second from Councilmember Ronning. I will call out that there are two little stars that are on there. Just wanted to call to council's attention. One of them is a motion to reconsider, which is where we start the meeting at. And there's some discussion about whether you put that on the agenda or not when it's a motion to reconsider. But I didn't want to have anybody think that we were trying to sneak something by bringing it up and not having it on the agenda, so that's why I put that there. And then the contract to extend the city attorney, 3 months went by really, really quickly, and so we had talked about it, but it was not in the packet last time, so I thought I would play it safe and put it there on the bottom. So any other comments on the agenda from the table? Hearing none, can I get a vote?
Conley?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Ruth?
Yes.
Stephen? Yes.
6-0, the motion passes. All right. I'll entertain a motion regarding the minutes of August 12th.
I move to approve the minutes of August 12th as written.
I'll second.
Motion from Councilmember Conley, second from Councilmember Ronning. Discussion at the table. Hearing none, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Conley?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Ruth?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Okay.
All right, mayor's comments and businesses. First off, some scheduling things. Reminder to the general public as well as the table, although the table's aware already, that we will be going back to quote-unquote normal hours at the next meeting, which means land use and planning will be the Monday before council meeting. So it's the Monday before the second Tuesday. Can't necessarily call it the second Monday because that's not always the case. So it's the Monday before the second Tuesday at 4:30, and all those times are listed on the website as far as if you're going to join those meetings. It's part of the agendas and also part of joining the meetings when you click on them. Monday, this coming Monday is Labor Day, so city offices will be closed. Just a heads up and reminder to the public at large. Something else I wanted to make people aware of is on Thursday, September 11th at 5:30 p.m., the Parks Board, I guess I should start with the activity because then you know if you want to care about the time. The Parks Board is going to be meeting and going and doing a tour of all the parks. There's a lot of the parks that are kind of lesser known. And so CART is going to be coming by and they will be meeting here on Thursday, September 11th at 5:30 and going out for that. And if folks are interested in joining, they're certainly welcome to. If we hit more than the bus, we may have to have people follow along in their private vehicles. That will be a noticed meeting and out there as well. This Saturday is the last day for the pool. The humans will not be closing out the last day of the pool. From 5 to 6:30 is going to be dog day at the pool.
Sorry.
And I suspect it'll be a fun place to be with the camera for some fun pictures. This is the first time we've done it here, at least in a very long time. So that'll be 5 o'clock on
Can't wait.
Saturday at the pool. And so the rules will be posted online and ahead of time. So yes, you have to give your dog a bath, give it ahead of time sort of a thing,
I
but.
love this so much. I'm so sad I'm not gonna be here.
Okay.
Want me to take your dog?
Also for council, just an awareness, a couple months out, November 11th is actually Veterans Day. That is slated for a city council meeting. We don't have to make a decision tonight, but council should be thinking about what do they want to do? Do they want to cancel that meeting? Do they want to shift it a week? Do they want to go ahead and meet? For us, yeah, and then we would have to make plans with staff to have a council clerk here that night. Okay? Any other questions on scheduling stuff?
When do we have to decide that? Next meeting?
No, we can do it within the next month or two. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Okay.
The new signs are out. Shout out to the chamber for getting those up. They're not completely done, but you'll see those as you come into town, the different directions. They look good.
Wayfinding?
Pardon?
Wayfinding signs?
Yeah, the wayfinding signs that the chamber put in.
Okay.
So there's still gonna be some shrubberies and some rock work that's coming in the next week or two. But that's kind of a nice new ad, and a nice visual for our town. So like I said, shout out to them.
Is it, grant funded or?
It was grant funded.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not any city taxpayer dollars. It is some chamber and then grants
Also T-bid.
and T-bid.
Thank
Did
you.
notice that T-bid
Yeah.
contributed a very substantial amount to that.
That's
Thank
nice.
Rocky Fork. Tetra Tech is who we outsourced the demolition project and all that is still working on their responses for the DNRC flood permit. So no further updates at that point. Once they get their responses done in DNRC, again, we will then run a 2-week ad in the paper, and the demolition day will be on day 15. And we will make sure that we keep folks well appraised of that as that's coming in. But that's just, at this point, I expect that to be just a standing question, so.
Have a countdown on the.
As soon as we get to the actual days, we'll get that countdown. On the annexations project, I have requested a staff report and a recommendation on the 2 annexations that we've talked about and looked at, mainly, Remington Ranch, and then I'm gonna say 2 Mile Bridge, but that's not what they call it.
It's
Woodlands.
Grandview
Woodlands?
and
Woodlands
Woodlands.
on Rock Creek.
And then it's the Grandview portion of Remington Ranch. And my position on it is,
Excuse me, it's just Grandview, not Remington Ranch.
yeah, it's
Got
just Grandview and Remington Ranch. So it's
Remington
basically,
has multiple.
if you are on city sewer and have already waived the right to protest annexation, that's what we're looking at. And from my position, I don't have a position one way or the other. I just want the data so we can make the right decision. If they come back and say it's financially smart for you to do this, if it's financially not smart for you to do it, or hey, it's close and then council has a decision to make. But if it's either one of those edges, I think it'll be pretty straightforward. So, I suspect that'll take them a few weeks. They are aware that we are looking at having those conversations before the end of the year with the data there, so they have that
Mr. Mayor,
information.
what's the procedure? I mean, does the city council decide that it's a good idea, then does it go to planning board?
Nope, it is
Doesn't ever
strictly,
have to go to
it
planning?
does not go to planning board. It is strictly a council behavior, and there are some regulations and stuff that we'll follow. Primarily, it's a public ordinance, or a public notice. I anticipate we would do it even if it's not a requirement. But at this point, it's just getting the financial information. Does it make sense to do it? Here's what it's gonna cost you to pick up the additional services, which for those, since we're already providing sewer, it's primarily snow removal, and trash, which is a service that already pays for itself that's within that. One of the conversations that came up that kind of caught me off guard is there may be an impact to city water. So right now, our city water, our ordinance is just, if you're within a certain distance from city water, you have to be tapped into city water. But my understanding is that generally there's a recommendation that over a period of like 20 years or something, they would move people to city water if they're within the city and already on those services. And that's another one of those elements. I want to get additional information because that to me could very much impact the conversation as well, particularly if it's on the line.
I mean, I think a lot about the folks that have Woodlands properties, me being one of them. Like,
the heavy water that's out there, I would almost rather have
City
my
water.
units on city water as opposed to dealing with the softeners and that
Oh,
crazy
That
amount
water
of,
is awful out
it's
there.
terrible.
And I wouldn't be opposed to them doing that if they're in the city. They'd have to be in the city to do that.
Oh, yeah,
But
exactly,
if
but
the
I'm
part where
saying,
we tell people that have been there for 20 years, you must now convert to city water without some sort of a reasonable plan, that
I'm just
causes me
thinking
apprehension.
more so if I had the option versus, are we able to provide city water if I say, yes, I opt in?
Right now, no, if you're not in the city.
Right, not, if you're
Right.
not in the city, I'm saying after the fact. That's, sorry,
Yeah.
anyway, continue.
No, you're good. So that's another one of those kind of standing items we've had out there, and I just wanted to, we've assigned that out to get and requested a staff report and recommendation.
Okie dokie.
Well, and it's that wonderful water out there too that turns the side of your house red.
Yeah.
From the,
Okay.
from the minerals in it.
Iron, lots of iron.
All right, major public works projects, they've been keeping very busy, and I would just like to give our public works team a shout out. They are doing a fantastic job. The 16-inch bypass, is progressing. It's slow during these initial stages, which was kind of planned. Our original, impact to that road on White was scheduled to be mid to late October. At this moment, I might lean to that reopening up later October, but having said that, we could also regain and get back up on schedule pretty quickly on that. The wastewater, rehabilitation projects, which includes some liner and stuff. There's actually gonna be some spot repairs done over the next couple of weeks within town. So you may see some short-term, shutdowns just for a day or two in several different locations. So I know like the alley behind, One-Legged Magpie is one. There's a couple of intersections down to the south. I'm sorry, I don't have all those ahead of me, but they will notify all the folks when there's gonna be a shutdown a day or two in advance.
Yodeler and
The
Lupine.
Lupine.
Lupine, right.
Okay, thank you. So I said, we'll do our best to get everybody notified before those happen, and those are just really short-term. My understanding is the bar will not be closed down at all during the process. The important questions came up.
The hotel.
I was asking about the food.
Up at Silver Circle, there was 8 units up there that we're doing the curb stops on. Those are now done, and again, that's another one of those projects that the original plan, when that came in, is we were gonna outsource this, and that was looking to be $100,000. Our staff did it, just as part of the regular workload. So again, they're out there saving us money and doing a good job there. There was kind of another little warm story I heard about that made me really happy too, was actually down on, there was a leak over on Cooper, that water was down for a couple of days. And, one of our public works guys, who had just been without water down to one of the other projects, and it was an 8-hour outage that turned into 30. And he thought, that's awfully inconvenient. So there were 1 or 2 houses down there that he just went down after hours, took them a couple of 5-gallon buckets of water, and they came, to flush the toilets and waters. And that, to me, was a warm fuzzy to have them just kind of doing that on their own without being directed. Really kind of that, we are a service organization, tenet number 1. So like I said, they're doing a lot, and I appreciate the work they're doing. It doesn't always go recognized, but I wanted to do that tonight. The other major project is kind of a heads up for the public. We resumed conversations with the state this week on the roundabout out at 2 Mile Bridge and that 2-mile stretch there. That project is currently tentatively set for 2027, so it's still a couple of years out. It could end up being 2028. But you may see some people out along there doing survey and environmental work in preparation for that. Even this season, they're doing that. So the next few weeks, you may see that. So that's kind of exciting to see that back on that. It was within the 5-year plan, and then it disappeared, and now it's back. Any questions on any of the projects or anything from the table? All right. I did have some action items that came out for mayor and staff. From the meeting today during Public Works. I'm gonna have a follow-up meeting on how to deal specifically with a speed limit sign that's blocked by a large vehicle. It's not in violation, but we're looking at, do we put the speed limit on the road, or some different options there? There was also an ask for the fire department, to get some specific breakdown, for city calls of services, and that'll come up a little bit later when we're talking about some budget issues, but they wanted to be able to pull out city data from the rest of the data just for references and recommendation. And then also the Admin and Finance Committee, I had a takeaway from there, having to do with the planning grant opportunities for a future police station. We didn't end up putting that in the budget, in our final budget, but there was a specific ask to go out and make sure that we are looking for grant opportunities for that. So those are some takeaways that I had, from the standing committee work session tonight. So hopefully then we don't have to hit those in those updates there. The other thing I was gonna mention on the agenda, you notice we had a below the fold, or in the work portion of the meeting last week, we had a change for Alpine Way to become Rocky Mountain Way. It is not on there. The owners have since requested that we do not move forward with that. They had to close in between, and they were trying to figure out how to make it work timing-wise, and for now, they don't want to do that. If they change their mind, we may come back and
They
I'll
closed today.
probably stick it above on the work portion of the agenda with a little asterisk, because we've talked about it before, but then council can decide if they want to move forward.
Are they the only house on that street?
They're the only construction that's actually in there yet.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna, yeah, okay, that makes
So-
sense then.
So, and it had to do with, I think, loan documents and
Yeah,
a
no,
couple of different
I-
things there. However, you will note that in the work session, we do have another one for Livery and Johnson right-of-way,
Row.
that is there for discussion tonight and action next time. And then the last thing is, just, we have the budget on the agenda tonight. I just want to give a public shout out to Lonnie. She's done an awful lot of work on that budget. I love the reports we have right now. It shows you not only the budget for this year, but how the public monies have been spent for the last several years. She's pulled a heavy load on that this year. I had wanted to put together a presentation, and it's still, even today, there was questions coming up, and so I'm still gonna put together a presentation, I think, to help tell our budget story to the public. That's not there tonight, but like I said, thank you, Lonnie, for all your work on that. That's the end of my list. Any other questions from council that I failed to include in there? All right. With that, we will move on to public comment in the agenda. Just a heads up, this is one of 3 public comment opportunities, I guess more than 3, but there'll be a public comment opportunity at the beginning of the meeting. There'll be another one at the end of the meeting, and then there will also be a public comment for each of the individual action items that we take action on. So, but I recognize that not everybody can be at all the meetings all the time. You have 3 minutes to address the council. Again, this is not a discussion. It is your opportunity to be heard from the council. Sometimes at the end of public comment, I will give council the opportunity to respond back. But part of my goal is to also keep it from being a back and forth in discussion or descending from there. It'll be 3 minutes. If you'll step to the podium, speak very loudly. In fact, if you're in the room, you could come up closer to this one up here to make sure that it's on the recordings. And then we'll go from there. Anything I missed in that? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the public comment. Again, not the last public comment, but the first public comment. Looking to the room. Seeing no comments in the room, I'll go to online. If you'd like to comment online, if you raise your hand or turn on your video camera so that we can tell that there's somebody who's interested. Going once for public comment, twice for public comment, and 3 times we'll go ahead and close the public comment. Again, there will be opportunities later in the meeting. With that, I will entertain a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I don't even do this one. Council.
Yeah.
Yes. Chelsea will entertain, or make a motion to reconsider Resolution 3711, approve downtown master plan, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Red Lodge, Montana, adopting the 2025 downtown master plan.
I will second.
Thank you.
I have a motion from Councilmember Tupin and a second from Councilmember Daniels. Was, I think, where I saw that. And I will introduce this just slightly. So the motion to reconsider is a procedural motion within Robert's Rules that allows the council to take up action on an item that is passed. procedurally, we actually take a vote to do that. So, is there any discussion just on taking up the motion from the table? Can we get a quick vote just to make that official?
Conley?
Yes.
Daniel? Yes. Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Ruth?
Yes,
Cuban?
Yes.
All right, the motion is picked up from the table. So what this gives us the opportunity to do, either in the same meeting or at the next meeting per our council rules and procedures, is to revisit something that we have approved in past meetings. So we approved Resolution 3711 in the last meeting. There were several amendments made in that meeting, and they were included in the attachments. There was a 1B, there was a, I think that says 1A, that were the edits that have now been reflected in the copy that is online. I also want to call out, I handed out the public comments we had from Mr. Foisey last week, but I failed to acknowledge those during the discussion, so I'll acknowledge those now. Those edits are all summarized in a page that was in your packet. You will notice on that page that in addition to the edits you guys all provided, which were included, there are some edits that were highlighted in yellow. The story behind those is as we reached out and were working and closing up the funding sources with the Main Street program, they provided a couple edits the day after we had approved the resolution. When I asked what would be happened if we didn't include those in the resolution, they said, well, we'll just put a note in your file that says we made some recommended edits and you didn't go with them. So that's why we're reconsidering this motion today. So at this point in time, I would entertain a motion to amend Resolution 3711 with the edits that are in the yellow in your packet.
I move to amend Resolution 3711 to include the amendments in our packet highlighted in yellow, as well as the approval date to be changed to today.
So rather than August 12th, it would be August 26th.
Correct.
I have a motion on the table.
I'll second.
I have a second from, motion from Councilmember Tupin to amend, with a second from Councilmember Ronning.
No.
I'm Daniels, sorry.
Generations back.
No, I did, she was very quiet, so that's my excuse.
Uh-huh.
Discussion at the table. Councilmember Root?
Yes, per your instructions, I sent in corrections to page 30, paragraph 3 last Thursday. And, all it was making sure that Creekside was one word, green space was 2, standalone was 2, and change sentence to read per 812 council amendment.
They made, your changes have been implemented. That's what that bullet item says.
Okay, that's good to know, because it's not clear that these changes were put in.
Okay, yeah, so that's what so what he's got there is all the individual changes and pages that are there. And so that, I think that 812 council amendment is, particularly because it says page 33rd paragraph,
Yeah,
that was implemented in it.
okay, hope so.
We can certainly look and validate it, because
And
it
then
is here.
my page, breaks off at page 37, action 10, there's nothing there, what is, am I gonna miss something?
Oh, reword per 812, yours doesn't say that? So somebody made an amendment on page 12 as well.
My page cut off, okay,
Yep.
reword
Okay.
812,
Yep.
I just missed that line.
Okay.
All right, well, I hope, thank you for putting that in there.
Okay. Councilmember Tupin, you looked like you were gonna jump in a minute ago as well for discussion at the table.
I was just gonna say, I'm glad that we're able to make these amendments and these for the contributions provided.
All right,
Mhm.
thank you.
That's all.
Any other comments from the table? All right, I think that, actually what I'll do is I'll go ahead and let's do a motion on the motion to amend, and then I'll open up for public comment on the,
We already did.
We already
did that.
Yeah, just made a motion, just seconded,
I'm sorry,
had our
no, I'm
discussion,
sorry.
now we can vote.
We're gonna vote on the amendment. Roll call on the amendment, please.
Wait, are we gonna
And then
have
public
input?
discussion is gonna be on the main, is what I was trying to say.
Gotcha.
What was the main motion?
The main motion is
Just to
to approve
reconsider.
3711 as amended. So this is, let's get a roll call vote on the motion to amend.
Okay, so we, just to clarify, so we did a motion to reconsider,
Consider.
Yep.
and then you just did a motion to amend.
Now that we picked it up from the table, there's a motion to amend.
But
That
there
should
wasn't
be
a
the last
main
one.
motion on the,
To approve
the
it.
motion
To
to
approve it
amend
again?
is the main motion.
This is.
There isn't
Okay.
another motion
Yeah,
that
this
you
is
guys
it.
made.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ken, before we get the motion to amend, thank you for keeping us official. What I need, now that we've taken it up from the table, can I get a motion to approve 3711?
I will make a
As
motion
amended.
to,
Oh, as amended even.
and that's exactly what
But that's what
Okay.
you did.
Okay,
So I don't
I
think we
second
need,
that.
I don't
You
think
don't
we need
need-
another motion.
You don't need
okay,
another.
so it's a motion as amended.
So you can do your public
I'm on.
comment.
Let's do a public comment
Yay!
on resolution 3711.
my God.
Go ahead and open the public comment.
Yay.
Six motions.
Seeing nothing in the room, let's go to comments online.
Let's go.
I'm looking for mics coming off, raised hands, cameras, going once, twice, 3 times. Closing public comment. Let's bring it back to the table. Any further discussion before we take a vote?
No.
Hearing none, may I get a vote on the motion to approve as amended?
Conley,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes,
Ruben.
Yeah.
All right, 6-0, the motion passes. Thank you. I will entertain a motion regarding 3713.
I move to approve resolution number 3713, a resolution of the City of Red Lodge, Montana, approving and adopting the final budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 as proposed by the City of Red Lodge Mayor and approved by the Red Lodge City Council on August 26, 2025.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Conley, a second from Councilmember Ronnie. Would anybody like to do an introduction or discussion to this before we go to public comment on the budget, as this is a public hearing?
I just had a question on the first whereas, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think, it says, whereas the Carbon County Assessor reported that the taxable valuation of the City of Red Lodge, I think it's of a mill for the City of Red Lodge.
No, it's the taxable value.
That's 10 million,
That's
so
10
that's not an
million.
individual mill.
No, and it,
Wild.
yeah, so that's the total taxable valuation the city has.
Of the City of Red Lodge.
Yes, but that's, and then that's how it's factored in.
And then from that, just for the public's awareness,
Yeah.
once they give us the taxable valuation of the city, they determine how much the city gets to collect in tax based on last year's budget and then factoring in the cost of inflation. And then with those two numbers, they come back and tell us what the value of a mill is. So a mill can change from year to year depending on how things go. This year, our individual mill value went down, which means it will be reflected in the terms of more mills, as opposed to last year, our mill value was up, which means we got less mills to get to our total. Does that help, Councilmember Conley?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion at the table before we go to public comment? Again, these budgets have been in line throughout development. They've been available online. They're also available in the front basket and will continue to be so for the public that's there. If you have any questions, you are welcome to come in and we will do our best to sit down and explain and answer individual questions. With that, let me go ahead and open the public hearing for Resolution 3713 for the final budget. Looking in the chambers, seeing nothing, let me go to online. I'm looking for mics, cameras, raised hands. Going once, going twice, seeing no public comment, I will go ahead and close the public comment. I will bring it back to the table for discussion. Any further discussion at the table? Again, thank you to Lonnie and thank you to council's input through this as well. This is always an entertaining, and like I said, I'm always looking to how we can communicate that story to the public, because they don't always come to this meeting, but that doesn't mean they won't have a question on the budget sometime, and they'll come and we do our best to help them understand. It's all out there. You can see how the public monies are being spent. Seeing no discussion at the table, can I get a vote, please?
Conley,
Yes.
Daniel, Yes. Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude?
Yes,
Rubin?
Yes.
6-0, the motion passes. I will entertain a motion regarding ordinance 973.
I move to approve ordinance number 973, an ordinance of the city of Red Lodge, Montana to update section 4.1.16 solid waste of the Public Health and Safety Red Lodge City Municipal Code. First reading.
oh, did someone second it?
Not yet.
I will, second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Conley and a second from Councilmember Rude. Discussion at the table, and let me start by saying, this was driven by a couple of key things that have come up within the city. One of them is bears and the impact of attractant waste, and another one is litter and blowing, and particularly as it related to construction dumpsters. For those who may have looked in the packet, there's a couple of things you see. The first is our existing code, which just has A, B, C, and D. Then you have the ordinance, and the way it works in the ordinance is that all the stuff that was there before and is still there just looks like normal text. Stuff that was added is underlined, and stuff that was struck has a strike through it. And in this particular case, there was a strike through from the existing. But otherwise, that encompasses the edits are there. Discussion at the table.
We discovered today at the Public Health and Safety meeting, thanks to the mayor and actually our city attorney, that we neglected to include what is number G, garbage from other premises. No garbage shall be deposited in any receptacle except garbage originating upon premises upon which such receptacle is located. That was somehow missed, so we would like to amend the 973 that was presented and do include it. Right now, it's just crossed off, but it should be part of the ordinance.
So return G to its rightful place, you're saying?
Yeah.
I have a motion to amend to return G to its rightful place.
I will second.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Conley and a second from Councilmember Daniels. Is that where did that come from?
Yes.
Discussion on the amendment at the table.
I feel like it's a silly thing.
I kind of have, I mean,
I-
I think if it applies to businesses, I kind of have a problem with it. You know, if it applies to all dumpsters, because they're paying, that business is paying for that dumpster, and if they want to put their private trash in that dumpster, they can pay for, I mean,
Right. Or
they
if
can do that.
if I bring trash from one of the properties that we manage and want to get it into a trash can because one is full, or, I mean, as long as there's permission from the person, I just feel like it's, one, a silly rule, and two, it's very unenforceable.
But
Like-
we've had people, we have to take in our trash can on the weekend because people from out of town that don't pay for trash fill up ours.
Well, again, I see that, but the way that this is written doesn't read that.
No, it means like if I'm paying $400 now a month for a 2-yard dumpster at the market, and if I have something from home I want to put in there, I'm gonna put it in there, because I'm paying for it.
So perhaps,
Or I would much rather have someone walking down the street put their trash in my trash can versus throw their dog doo somewhere else. Again, I just think if this is going to be here, I think it should be more about permissions versus actual, it's just written poorly. That's,
I agree, it's with permission, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can't have someone from out of town, because I've had people do that, they back up to my dumpster and just start loading their trash into it. And that's theft of services, because they're not paying for it, and they don't have my permission to do so.
right.
And
So-
that's, we had comments during this morning's meeting from business owners who had that, they were concerned with people dumping it in there. But it wasn't addressed with permission, so did you just add without permission to that?
Or I think, give me a second to just look at, again, I think we can fix this tonight.
No, I understand, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, no, so let me read it through and let me write it down, and I think we can just rewrite this to be, yeah, a little cleaner.
Just add at the end, unless permission is granted from the property owner.
Yeah, individual Yeah, I mean,
So we need to get rid of the originating upon the premises.
yeah, I mean,
So no garbage shall be deposited in any receptacle
yeah, I think.
without the permission.
Yeah, I think that's fine, like, of the trash can owner or the affiliated property, owner or property, so, no garbage shall be deposited in any receptacle
Without the express permission
without the express permission,
of the
Of the property owner.
yeah, or you don't necessarily say a property owner, but yeah.
No,
The
yeah,
staff
it could
can be
renter.
delegated to
Yeah.
say,
I'm wondering if, so
Renter,
if it's not originating on the, and again, I don't count, but I'm okay with it originating, but like, so without permission from the affiliated property?
Yeah, affiliated, yeah.
Hmm. Can we have the whole sentence?
As I heard it, and then we'd need a motion to amend the amendment.
Well, it
Garbage
wasn't
from
seconded.
other premises, no garbage shall be deposited in any receptacle except garbage originating upon the premises upon which such receptacle is located without permission from the affiliated property.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's still a little funky, but it's
Better
better than, yeah.
than it was.
Yeah, because I don't, again, not that I think this would ever be enforced, but if we're gonna have laws to enforce, you might.
Well, it is,
It
if
has been.
if someone pulls up to my dumpster and you can go through the
Yeah.
garbage and you can find names on it,
Uh-huh.
it's theft of services, and the police will enforce
Well,
that.
more so, I think the other way, to where it's
Right.
like, well, like, unless the property owner reports it, like, I don't see it being like,
And we could
Right.
report it.
yeah, but I also don't need an angry neighbor being like, well, she's using her trash can for other people.
I have it on my camera.
Right?
I know.
I would move to amend as stated a few minutes ago.
I'll second.
Have a motion from Councilmember Conley and a second from Councilmember Ronning to amend the amendment of G to include that additional wording. Any discussion at the table before we take a vote on that?
Did anybody write down the wording?
I
Yeah.
did.
As long as Lonnie did, I think we're good.
And I will hand it down if we're done,
Without
but I'm
permission.
guessing this group is
I think we're changing property owners, it was property.
Affiliated property.
Yeah.
Affiliated, with the affiliated property.
hearing no discussion at the table. Can I get a roll call on the motion to amend the amendment?
Conley,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Rude,
Yes.
Tupin.
Yes.
We try to get all these discussions done ahead of time, but, all right.
Forgive me for not having read all the ordinances yet and memorized them, but where are we, where do we address theft of services? We throw that around. Is that addressed anywhere? I know what it is, because I worked at dispatch, but does anyone else know what that is? It's a funny term, theft of services.
I can't tell you what the ordinance is right now off the top of my head, but I know that's what it's been discussed as. I like it better under trash because now they have a specific ordinance to write it against. And they know what the fine is, it's $100.
each
I'm
time.
not arguing, I'm saying, is theft of service addressed somewhere else, or is it?
I'd have to go look at it to answer that question. I also don't have them all memorized.
Because it's a phrase we use, but where is it? That's
Well,
where,
the service is what we pay for, and if you're dumping your trash in someone else's trash and they're paying for it and you're not, then you're stealing.
But
Well,
where is,
I
but
know
where
what
is
it
the
is.
code that says theft
MCA
of services?
456305.
Where is
There you
it?
go.
MCA 456305.
It's a
State.
state code.
There we go.
well.
Internet.
Thank you.
Is that here?
Right there. Theft of labor or services or use of property. Person
Dun,
commits
dun,
the
dun.
offense of theft when the person obtains the temporary use of property, labor, or services of another that are available only for hire. That's one place.
I would think
We
that
can
would
probably
qualify,
find
yeah.
more.
Right.
But we hire our
Yeah, you
garbage, so
too.
we're paying
Yep.
for our garbage, so.
Mhm.
Water, some special water.
Are we
I was
good?
just curious.
Well, I got an answer.
No, there we go. Thank you.
I helped.
There we go.
Internet.
I help. All right, so we have the motion to amend, the vote on the motion to amend as it now reads. Any discussion at the table? Let's get a roll call vote, please.
On the amendment?
Do we need a
We
public
already-
hearing?
This is on the amendment. We amended the amendment, now this is on
The
the,
actual-
including G.
We just
thought
did
we-
that.
No, we did the amendment to say without permission from.
That's what
That-
we did.
we-
The roll call was just on
Oh,
that.
did that include, including G altogether?
Yeah.
Because that was amendment to the amendment.
Well, no,
Yeah,
because
we
she didn't
never
make
vote-
she didn't make a motion to amend, she just made a motion to pass, so we just made the motion to amend.
I had a motion to amend, and then the discussion came up, and I had a motion to amend the amendment.
I don't think we did.
I-
I defer to Lonnie on taking notes.
I will,
So she changed her amendment to
oh,
include.
she changed the amendment.
Yeah,
That's the part I missed.
yeah.
We just
Okay,
had the one
okay, so we did that. So now we're back on the main motion and ready for public comment.
Yes.
Perfect.
Let's open public comment on, I'm gonna get beat up already, I can tell.
973.
Public comment on the, I lost my first page.
973.
973 trash, which now includes the amendments as made by council. Looking to the room, seeing none? I'm seeing a response, but not public comments. All right, going through online.
Oh, God.
Going once, twice, 3 times. We will close the public comment on the first reading of ordinance 973. Any further discussion at the table? Could I please get a vote?
Conley,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Rude,
Yes.
Cuban.
6-0, the motion passes as amended. Again, that is an ordinance which requires 2 public
read
readings,
that?
so we will see that on the next meeting.
Can't wait.
The changes will be referenced
Just with wildlife management.
in that new ordinance
I thought we took that out.
when we come back.
No, we left that in.
No,
Am I
that's
missing
with
discussion? Yes, no purple?
Huh?
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, I'm sorry, I just thought there was something in here that we had taken out last time, and it was still in there, so.
Are we ready?
Clarifying. So I apologize.
Okay, sorry, I missed
I'm sorry.
that.
Okay.
So are we good? So that closes the first reading.
Yeah.
And it'll be there with all those resolutions the second time, just make sure there's not any clarity. If we change anything next time, we'll start over again. Okay.
It was the wish no harm to wildlife thing, I thought we took that out, because not everybody feels that way.
Yeah, we did talk about that, but
That's okay.
we'll catch it next time.
No, because
Okay.
then we'll have to start over, we can just leave it in there, it's fine. I don't care.
Okay.
It's not a hill I'll die on, okay?
This is fine.
Or you could do a motion to take it up if we goofed.
Putting gum in my mouth. Stop
Yeah, this, we had that, we had that.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Are you good, or do you want a motion to
Oh,
reconsider?
no, I'm good, I'm
Because
good.
we're up on that now.
Yeah.
All right, I will
I just know
entertain-
some people that would, you know, don't feel that
I will
way.
entertain a motion for resolution 3712.
I move to approve resolution number 3712, the resolution to award the 2025 street improvement project for the city of Red Lodge, Montana.
I will second.
That was a motion from Councilmember Ronning, a second from Councilmember Daniels. Before we go to discussion at the table, I will go ahead and recognize that we have Chad here from Great West. Do you want to give a brief introduction or make any comments on it?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Chad Hansen with Great West Engineering. I think I've met you all. Brandon Duffy's also online to help me answer any questions I can, because he couldn't be here in person tonight. So we held the bid opening for the streets project, August 14th. In the last year and a half, the bidding environment for municipalities has completely flipped due to the slowdown on the private side and the federal money kind of winding down. So you got really great bids. K2 Civil came in at $2.385080, which is well under the project budget. It means we can award all the schedules in the project. In fact, it leaves quite a bit of money on the table, almost $500,000 or a little more. We estimate that we could do the design and construction of 2 to 3 more blocks with that money. So, Brandon and Mike Maples have reached out to EDA and said, would you entertain that? They said that they're amenable to adding additional work by change order, as long as we follow the program requirements that it has to be commercial districts, not residential. So Mike and Brandon are working out those details with them to see if they can find a couple more blocks to do that we could add to the project and use all the grant monies.
And just to clarify, I think it was commercial impact, because that was the nature, so it says, it's not, some of you from the planning board are thinking zoning and stuff, because we have streets that are in residential, but it's because of the business and commercial impact that they were included.
Well, and EDA's viewpoint is the 700,000 the city's putting in is paving the residential streets.
Okay.
But you're right, if we have to show, like Seconds, that goes up to the high school and the sanctuary and stuff, we can show that's commercial related. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
commercial frontage or commercial zone, but we have to tie it back to commercial for the economic
Yeah.
development money.
And they will give us that feedback whether their proposal meets that or doesn't meet
Yeah,
that.
so, K2 Civil, they're a good firm, they're reputable, we're doing a project with them outside of Colstrip, we're doing Castle Rock Road, they're doing a great job. So we're recommended formally to the city to award all the schedules, get moving. If we get it awarded, they even wanna start and try and get a couple blocks done this fall, and then do a winter shutdown, and finish starting next spring. If we were able to add via change order additional blocks, we could get it surveyed this fall, design it over the winter, have it ready to go for them, so it would tie together pretty nicely. That's it in a nutshell, unless you guys have questions for me on the project or how the bidding went.
Any questions from the table for Chad?
Good work.
Thank you, Chad, don't leave yet.
I'm not leaving.
I mean, you can sit down, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Brandon, anything you wanted to add to that, sir? I'm not seeing a mic light up, so.
Sorry, I'm struggling to find the mute button. No, I think Chad covered it pretty well there. Like you mentioned, our hope is to, the motion, I guess, in front of you is to award, the full bid price. That's gonna be all the schedules that were bid out. And then we will continue to work with EDA to identify if we can add a couple more blocks, and that will be within the original budget that city and council approved when we submitted the EDA grant application. So it's gonna fall within that original grant package that was done about a year and a half ago. So.
Thank you, sir. Discussion at the table, Councilmember, Conley.
This street improvement is tied directly to the stormwater project, is that correct?
No, it's not, that drove kind of what we picked was stuff that had already been done with stormwater project, but that was not the basis of the project itself. There was a grant that became available for streets that had a business impact and a commercial impact. Period. And then all of the streets that are included passed the mustard on that, and then the discussion is, now that, so we talked about having different schedules, that's in case it comes in high, we can say we're gonna do 1 and 2, but not 3, or 1 and 3 and not 2. What the change is now is if EDA comes back, we may come back with a change order that says, then Schedule 4, which we didn't talk about before, is these roads that they have to basically buy off and include within that project. And that's the discussion that's going on.
So it doesn't have to be a zoned commercial,
Correct.
it just has to be either a commercial entryway like to the schools and all of that,
We
or,
have to be able to convince the people who are giving us the money that it has a commercial impact. And if they sign off and say it is, then we're good.
sort of like where the dairy is on, is that Platt or Hagen, because
Yeah.
that's a commercial,
There are some areas that they're looking at.
and that could conceivably be included.
Yeah, so Public Works is already working with them to identify spots. And we haven't given them a final proposal yet, but they, in the early go-arounds back and forth, they said, yes, if you can meet the requirements. If we would have approved it the first time, we'll still approve it, is basically what the conversation is.
Okay.
Other comments at the table? Seeing no discussions at the table, let me go ahead and open this up for public comment. This is public comment specifically to Resolution 3712 and the awarding the bid for the street improvement. Looking to the room? Seeing no activity in the chamber, going to online for public comment? Going once? Twice? 3 times? We'll go ahead and close that. bring it back to the table. Any last discussion before we do a vote? Hearing none, can I get a vote on resolution 3712, please?
Conley,
Yes.
Daniel? Yes. Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude?
Yes,
Reuben?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes. I will entertain a motion for resolution 3714, the bond resolution.
Okay.
I'm keeping
See
up
if I can
tonight.
Mike, I have a question for the clerk. I have the entire bond thing, but I'm trying to look where the resolution number is on
This
it.
is right there, right there.
So that very first page is kind of their,
That's
they do theirs, but then the second page actually has, I don't know, their page that has
The supplemental resolution relating to,
yeah, and then you go through, sorry. So it's, so you kind of have to go through that certificate, and then it's the supplemental relating to table
So,
of contents, then it says resolution number 3714.
I think,
oh, there we go.
I
I was
think
just
I
looking
have
for
it.
the language to have
yeah.
a motion that's on there. I will entertain a motion for resolution 3714.
I move to approve resolution number 3714, resolution relating to $1,060,000 water system revenue bonds, DNRC Drinking Water State Revolving Loan Program, consisting of $530,000 subordinate tax lien Series 2025A bond and $530,000 Series 2025B bond, authorizing the issuance and fixing the terms and conditions thereof.
I second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Ronning and a second from Councilmember Conley. Discussion at the table, and I'll just start out by throwing, this is for the water system, and specifically, this is the bond that gets 50% forgiveness, which is why you see two of it. So this is doing $1 million of work for $500,000 to the taxpayers. Any further discussion at the table? And this was actually prepared by our bond firm that we use for all of our bonds. Lonnie, do you want to add anything to it? A lot of legal jumbleese that we've paid somebody else to generate.
Just 'cause I'm curious, where is this bond outfit? Missoula?
Helena or
Dorsey and Wendy's in Missoula.
Missoula, I thought, 'cause back in the day, this lady came over from Missoula and tried to explain this to us, and
It's a lot.
her name was Nan Ellingson. Do you know that name?
Nan worked with Dorsey and Wendy, but I believe she's retired.
Well, it was a long time ago.
Generally, you guys work with Courtney, I believe now.
Yeah, Courtney is who we work with. She's
There
the
are
new
only
Nan.
two bond councils I'm aware of in the state. There's Dorsey and Wendy in Missoula, and Bob Murdo's old firm at Nate is a partner in now in Helena, and I forget what they renamed her firm.
Yeah, well, she tried, but
They're really good to
I
work.
appreciate her driving from Missoula to talk to us.
If you
Anyway.
look at this, you get the idea they were paid by the word.
Amazing.
All right. We'll go ahead and open the public comment related to bond, the resolution 3714. I'll start out with the room first. Seeing no activity in the room, I'll go to online. Jeff Wise, I see a camera. Would you like to make a public comment regarding the bond, sir?
No, sorry, my camera wasn't supposed to be on.
I'm just glad you weren't in a compromised position. All right, looking to online for public comment. Going once? Going twice? 3 times, we'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the table. Any further discussion at the table? Seeing none, can I get a vote, please?
Conley?
Yeah.
Daniel?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude?
Yes.
Reuben?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes. I will entertain a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the contract extending interim city attorney services.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign contract extending interim city attorney services.
I'll second.
Motion from Councilmember Ronning, second from Councilmember Tupin. Discussion at the table.
Yes, was there paperwork with this? 'Cause I don't see any.
There is.
Okay, well.
It starts out with recitals at the top of it. It's just it's a contract.
It's a big packet.
And I can, it's basically the same as it was before with the dates changed.
Okay, since I don't have it, how long is this gonna be, 3 more months?
This is for a 3-month period
And
more,
and-
ending in November.
November 30th.
And then when are we just gonna keep stringing him along? What are we doing here?
I don't believe so, and I don't hope so, although we are having conversations for that exact reason with him. We have been working with the league. Originally, the league was going to offer these services as a pool service. They have since changed plans and are opening up an RFC. They're still building a pool, but it won't be one of their attorneys, it'll be a pool of attorneys. And they don't have their proposal completely written out, but I'm willing to go with Dennison for another 3 months while they finish putting together what their proposal and guidance is.
So there's gonna be a pool of lawyers somewhere in the state that we have to use?
No, that we can choose to use. And so whether that will be an actual service, or if that will be just a list of RFCs, there's still some unknown
I don't
questions
know what an
there.
RFC is.
Request for,
RFC.
request for, they actually call it request for qualifications in the attorney world. But it's request for qualifications or contract.
Okay.
So it's like they're putting a proposal in. And he still has that ability, he will have that ability to apply for that as well. So the real answer is, we don't know yet, which is why we're extending him for 3 months.
Or we could just go ahead and hire him for a year, or 2, or 3, or,
Well, it's generally done as a 2-year contract, and I'm not comfortable doing that at this point yet.
hey, I just wanna put my opinion out on that. We could go along and just hire him as a normal.
Absolutely, we could do so.
Okay, right, but I ain't the mayor.
Pardon?
I'm not the mayor.
That's fair, thank you. Yeah, it'll be me that gets yelled at. Any other comments at the table?
Trying.
Hearing none, let's go for public comment, regarding to, extending the interim city attorney services contract. Looking to the room? Seeing none? Going to online, anybody who'd like to make public comment? I'm seeing no cameras, I'm seeing no hands, I'm seeing no mics. Going once, twice, 3 times, we'll close that and bring it back to the table. Any discussion at the table?
Has the League of Cities, and I apologize if you answered this already this morning, but do they have an estimated timeline for when they will finish this completed list of vetted attorneys?
They don't, but she told me she thought 3 months would be more than sufficient to address it.
Okay.
So, and now keep in mind that they had told me that before, and I told them our deadline is coming up, and she said, and I said, we are looking at contract extension for 3 months. She said, I recommend doing that, she being Kelly Lynch, who's the head and also an attorney and several other things, and she said she thought she would have us an answer within that time frame. So I don't think it'll require an extension beyond this 3 months, which I think hopefully addresses some of Councilmember Rood's concerns as well.
Okay.
Other comments at the table? All right, seeing none, can I get a vote, please?
Conley?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes,
Ruben?
Yes.
6-0 motion passes. I will work to get that executed with the city attorney. Wow, that was close. All right, that completes the, work portion of our meeting, or the action portion of our meeting. And so now we will go to the council work sessions. And for public health and safety, I'll look to Committee Chair Conley to give us a brief update of things we won't have already addressed in this meeting.
The police chief wasn't present this morning, so we didn't get an update, on what he's been up to. Okay.
funny way to say it.
I know. We did go over chapter, ordinance 973, we had no changes. We did have a group from the Fifth Street and Hauser, homeowners regarding the painted lines, wondering when that was going to be done. The mayor assured us that it would be, it's on the list and towards the top, but as water lines break, those are priority. There was a discussion about the motorhome that's parked in front of the speed limit sign that lowers the speed limit to 15. And the police chief did go out, speak to the owner of the motorhome that has water and power running to it. And he felt assured that they weren't living in it, violating our camping ordinance. So we're hoping that maybe we can get a 15-mile-an-hour painted on the road itself, so that everybody knows that the speed limit changes. So we're hoping for that. And that's, we did get an update from Patty from the Red Lodge Rural Fire District, which was interesting, wherein we talked about asking the fire district to break out their calls for service between city and county. And of course, eliminating ambulance, because we have an ambulance district that we pay for, but exactly what are we getting for 28 mills? So that was the gist of our morning meeting.
Thank you. Any questions for, public health and safety from the table? All right, seeing none, admin and finance, and I'll look to committee chair Ronning for any updates that we may not have already discussed at this meeting.
We just have up for discussion tonight is ordinance number 952, second amended, for the resort tax, an ordinance replacing chapter 4 of title 2 of the Red Lodge Municipal Code, collection and reporting of resort tax revenues. So hopefully, everyone was able to kind of review that a little bit. We worked with, the Resort Tax Committee, and then, I sat down with Danae, and Lonnie a little bit to, get their input on things that they wanted added in here to help, specifically with the enforcement, things like that, of the reporting and the, fine type things, and clarifying some of the things that, she has had, that Danae and the mayor have had to, previously make decisions on, because it wasn't spelled out clearly in this ordinance whether or not it was taxed or not. So I'll just pull your attention to the fact that in, 2-4-3 resort tax imposed, all those businesses, categories that are there, everything that those businesses sell is taxed. Unless we have a 2-4-5, these are exempt from the resort tax, regardless of, you know, if they're sold by one of these businesses or what have you. So that's how it's written. So if you're a hotel motel and you have a clothing store there and you sell T-shirts or socks, it's gonna be taxed, because it doesn't matter, you know, it's not exempt from the tax. Whereas, if you're a retail establishment, you're not listed, you know, a clothing store, you're not listed in that everything you sell is taxed. So that's where 2-4-4 luxury tax goes to businesses that may sell things that are taxed but aren't taxed. And so that's where you get your clothing, unless, you know, new clothing items type of thing like that, that are screen printed, that type of thing. So just pointing that out so you kind of understand how this ordinance is written, when you're reading through it, because that can be kind of confusing. We did move, the goods and services sold by any business that does not operate, so, you know, temporary vendors. We moved them from 2-4-4, because that's not where they were supposed to be. Because everything that they sell is taxed if you're a temporary vendor in town. Unless, you know, it's unprepared food items, because that's exempt from the tax, in 2-4-5. We had a discussion this morning, and I'll just bring your attention to it. Rather than, having new clothing items, that have been either screen printed, we're just gonna say new items, because there's so many things these days that you can imprint, you know, with Red Lodge or Yellowstone National Park. So rather than adding like cups or shot glasses to this whole list of things, we're just gonna say any new items that have been imprinted with, or embroidered or otherwise imprinted with designs depicting or containing words such as Montana Red Lodge. So we're just taking out clothing there, just so you know.
There's actually three, if you look at what is taxed, there's kind of three general nets in that. That one that she just talked about, that formerly said new clothing items, and that'll just say new items. Also, the first bullet, which is any gift item, luxury item, or other items normally sold to the public or to transient visitors or tourists. And then there's another one about 2/3 down the list that just says souvenir items. And so it's feeling that those three
Would
nets
hopefully
kind of
catch
cup
everything.
things.
Yeah. Under exempt from tax, Danae asked that we added educational materials be exempt from the tax. So if you buy like a science kit or those little dinosaur kits where you can, chip away the rock and you get a little dinosaur, those are educational materials. Those would now be exempt from the tax.
Pencils,
Yeah.
what if they're printed with red line?
Right.
So the exempt is automatically undoes what it was before. You cover it and then take it away.
Yeah, yeah.
As the insurance
Yep.
agents in the room informed us.
Yeah. First you cover it, then you take it away, and then maybe you get it back by endorsement.
Right, in the
Okay,
small print at the end.
I know, so then if you go to, 2-4-7, we did add, this is for reporting purposes, because we have different categories that we like to look on our reports, like how many sales, how much are, short-term rentals contributing, how much are hotel motels contributing, how much are restaurants contributing, how much is retail contributing. So what we added was that if a business has sales in more than one category, for example, retail with a coffee shop, you're gonna have a separate report for each category when you file your report, so that we can collect that information, on, which categories of business are contributing the most, I guess, or different research type things. And then on page 6, under 2-4-13, bonding and collecting, we just added, because we are allowing umbrellaing of, if someone's having a special event, those temporary vendors do not need to come in and get a business registration, and they do not need to get the bond, because the person, it says if they spend, I've got to hold ahead of myself. I'll continue. It's number 8 down here at the bottom. If a business hosting event wishes to umbrella their participating vendors, they are assuming full responsibility that the resort tax will be collected, and they will remit any applicable taxes to the city in their next scheduled payment, and they are required to maintain their records for 3 years. Now we'll go back up to B, which is that if you're a temporary vendor right now, they have to pay their bond in cash, but it was not spelled out here. They do not take a check from a temporary vendor. They can pay in a cash or a revocable line of credit or a bond. But that is returned to them at the end of the event. So Danae just wanted that.
When they pay their resort tax.
When they pay their resort tax, yes. They,
Should it say that?
well, if they don't pay their resort tax, that's the way it is for everybody. If you don't pay your resort tax, you don't get your bond back, or you don't
Okay.
get your deposit back. That's just, See, so. Okay, and number E, and this is under violations and penalties, 2-4-15, but it's on page 7. Number E, we had to add in there that if there is an audit, that the audit will be conducted by the city or their designated representative, because apparently we had a situation where it went to a judge, and the judge said we didn't have that in there, so they let the business do their own audit. So we had to add that in there. And all fees and penalties collected shall be deposited into the general fund. Because we did not have that in there, it was going into the resort tax, and it's really our admin staff time that those penalties and fees are supposed to be paying for all the extra work that they have to put into to try to collect that. So this is our fix for that. Appeals, a business may submit a request or a waiver of penalty for first offense within, and I'm taking up business because it's 30 days, not 30 business days, of the date of the written notice of penalty if full payment of due resort tax has been paid and received by the city. City staff and the mayor will review the request and determine if a waiver will be granted. The waiver shall be based on prior payment history, and a copy of the waiver will become part of the business's permanent file with the city. Yes?
On that, can you put calendar days versus business days? Because I think that's where part of the confusion came from
Okay,
before.
so just calendar days?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, just
Nope, that's
something to
okay.
catch that from later.
Yes. No,
Jody,
thank you.
since, 2-4-15, applies to us,
Yes.
is there anything new in that?
Well, this allows,
Lots of need to make a waiver.
it allows the city and the mayor, the staff and the mayor to decide if it's a first offense and they paid their resort tax and take into consideration their payment history, then the mayor and staff can make that determination if a waiver is granted, and then they do not have to come to.
That's what I was driving at.
Yes, we still have it in there that they can appeal to city council, but this, you know, if it's a first offense, and they've always
Right.
paid well.
Okay,
so.
great, thank you.
Okay, and I think that's it. Is there any other questions on that?
I wanted to add one comment, if you go to 2-4-3, so all the changes are in yellow, except for the one that I'm about to share with you. So there is resort tax imposed, all of these businesses, and then down is all of these items, and then there's the, unless it's on this list and then it's not. In that first section, there used to be a bullet that says, businesses that sell luxury items, and it just kind of, it was an all-encompassing. But the problem is, and the specific case that came up was like Back Alley Metals. They sell luxury items, but does that mean that they have to charge resort tax when they come and install a banister around your patio? And so that bullet was just struck, but we didn't leave it in yellow as a strike through around that. We could maybe get that put in for the next time, but that, and then the other two edits I think you did was new clothing items, and then strike business, and now it's struck business and replaced with calendar days.
And I
So
had
there, but
one more I forgot to mention. From this morning on 2-4-3, resort tax imposed under A, we were gonna strike except for goods and services sold for resale, because that's exempt on 2-4-5. So we're not gonna list all those other ones, so we're not gonna list that there either.
where is that?
On the
Oh.
A.
except for goods and services sold for
That's
resale.
gonna be struck out of that?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's exempt.
So those
over here.
changes will be reflected in the copy. Go ahead.
I just want to ask, on the convention or event room or space rentals under 2-4-4 luxury tax. So we do have some nonprofits, right, that rent out space there, but they would be exempt, right, from
No,
this.
Because it's fundraising.
Yeah, because-
Organizations, including concessions.
only
Is the
if it's a
conference-
fundraising, if it's a fundraiser for them, then it's exempt. But if it's in their normal course of business, like the Roosevelt Center, where they, rent out spaces,
Mhm.
it's taxed. They have to collect the resort
It
tax.
is, okay, all right, I didn't know if
Yeah, if it's
nonprofit
in their
trumps
normal
those things.
course of business, it has to be a fundraising activity, a fundraiser for nonprofits. It can't just be the course of business of a nonprofit.
And just to kind of go on that vein a little bit with the nonprofit sector, if you are creating an item for a nonprofit, so like specifically making T-shirts that will be utilized in a fundraising event, are those items taxed?
That's wholesale. Those
Yeah.
are items created for wholesale, resale.
For resale.
So those are excluded. Those are
Catered,
exempt.
catered food?
If it is being purchased by, yeah, that's for resale. If the nonprofit is then selling it as part of their ticket, that's a resale item, so, yeah.
All right,
So that's
interesting.
exempt.
Just fun clarifications.
Yeah, no, if you, so like, if you go and buy stuff for your fundraising event from someone else, that's a resale, because you're gonna resell it.
Okay.
And
That's
that's
a
on the
wholesale.
exempt list, so even if it was included above, it's now exempt.
Well, I'm just saying, like, for that person selling it to me, like, if I go and buy a tray of fruits that, or like a bunch of croissants from the grocery store that are gonna be for a fundraising event, like that, again,
Well, it's,
ridiculous, right? But,
it's a fine line.
Yep.
You know, if you hire a caterer to come and cater for your event, they will not charge you the resort tax. You would charge it to the people. If it's a for-profit event, then you're gonna charge it in your ticket
Right.
for that
Double
event.
charge.
But if it's a nonprofit event and that's your fundraiser, then everything's gonna be exempt.
double check. Not that I don't have any stake in it, just very interesting.
But if you're a caterer and you are, I don't know, are they even on there?
Oh, no.
That's your line of
So, let's not go there, I know. Yeah, let's not go there. But if you go to, and buy a tray of food from the charcuterie place for your Super Bowl party, you're gonna pay resort tax. Because you're not gonna resell that, you're just gonna eat it.
Yep. Somebody charge
You
people
could
to come
charge
to my house.
people.
All right, are we
I've done it
comfortable
before.
with those edits that were shared tonight with moving that forward for first reading at the next meeting?
Yes.
I like the way this is typed, just easy to read, so whoever did it this way, I love it.
Me too.
It's bold, it's big, and I love bullets. Anyway, thank you.
Done like that since probably 1996.
It's simple to read. Thank you.
All right, committee chair running, anything else you wanted to
No.
discuss with the full council?
Not at this time.
All right. With that, we will go to land use and planning. And for that, I will defer to Committee Chair Tupin.
There's a resolution to assign reassign Liver Eaton Johnson Row right away within city limits that I don't have in front.
I do,
Thank
so,
you. There,
yeah.
there it is.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, we didn't have a discussion about this morning, so. Doesn't have a resolution number, but it does have a whereas here, so I'll just read that. Or I'll even just go to the therefores. So there's a public right-of-way located between 9th Street East and 12th Street East, as set forth on the attached Exhibit A, located within the Red Lodge city limits. They want that renamed to Liver Eaton or L.E. Johnson Road, or Row. The city shall hire a licensed professional land surveyor for the state of Montana to prepare the revised plat. And upon approval by the city council, the revised plat shall be filed with the Carbon County Clerk and Recorder's Office.
The problem comes if you have a house and that's your address, it isn't possible to have an address if there's not a name.
So,
There's no name. So currently, there is no name. There's no
name.
It's an alley,
Yeah.
right,
and it used,
But-
so Daly Avenue used to be on the other side of their house fronts, and then that got abandoned, washed out.
No longer.
so,
Yeah, no longer.
Many years
Six-
ago.
So,
like 6 or 7 years ago, when those houses were built on that spot,
Yes.
I was told that was their address, because I wrote the insurance with that address.
You're talking about
Road.
Daly?
So-
Oh,
well,
Ellie
and-
Johnson.
Road,
And furthermore, what happened is, it didn't get
Oh.
done with an official process.
Okay, because
The
I was like,
process
they've
to
been,
rename
I'm
something
like,
is
they've been
council.
using that address, that name for
yeah.
like
Yeah.
6 or 7 years.
It was recorded somehow at the county,
Yeah.
but the process didn't go through.
The city, okay,
The
so
right
we're
way.
just cleaning it up.
Got it. Just double
Okay.
checking.
It is not done because a city planner says, yeah, sure, name it that. It goes to council.
Well, and it was actually, when I was insuring the house, it was a brand new build, and I talked to James Caniglia, and he told me that was the address. Your city planner did.
Right.
Yep.
He's not authorized to do that. That's a council action.
Okay, so I think we can move this above the fold next week. Any questions for me?
I do, I have questions. Of course I have
Okay,
questions.
yeah, of course.
There's few things in life I care more about than grammar, and I think the fact that, when I saw this, I went, who in the world is L.E. Johnson? Well, then I went, oh, duh. But I think when you have a single identifier, descriptive moniker, it should be hyphenated. Have the signs been made? Please say no.
No.
No, but there's a bunch of stuff recorded to it.
Yeah.
But L.E. Johnson, it sounds like, who is Lewis Edward Johnson? But L.E. hyphenated, it's, who else could it be but Liver Eaton Johnson?
I don't
And
know.
we're,
You don't hyphenate.
No.
Those are the initials.
You could do initials, but you don't hyphenate.
feel like we need
Yeah,
to.
no.
but it's a special name. It's not his name, it's what we call him, Liver Eaton.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's hyphenated when written out. I think-
don't just put L.E., put the whole.
Well, you can't do it on a
It
street
won't
sign, but why can't on a street sign you
It
go
won't fit.
L/E?
Or L dot.
L, or something,
L period.
because no one, I mean, everyone knows who Liver Eaton Johnson is, but no one knows who
And to
L.E.
your point,
Johnson
if I
is.
look it up, it does have a hyphen in there. But,
Oh, yeah.
having said that,
That would be a nightmare for the post office,
well,
and for, I don't know.
All we're caring about right now is,
Or the,
well, you can.
This isn't just about street sign, this is how it will be legally identified, which has already been legally identified within the county, and I get the
We're just
grammar.
cleaning it up.
But this is literally something that skipped this step, and now we have to clean up this
I
step.
understand
what I'm wondering is if the 1, 2, 3,
Everything is
4th
already
right of way down, if what we could say is we're naming of the right of way, in L.E. Johnson Row, in memory of Liver-Eaton Johnson, we get it, stuck it in there, so at least it says, hey, we understand grammar.
I like that.
I'm fine with that.
There we go. That way people have a.
And where would you put that?
I would just put it.
1, 2, 3, 4th whereas.
I like saying love. The Johnson
I
Road.
don't think
Like
they don't do punctuation on street signs, so we can say, there isn't a period, there's not a hyphen, there's
You
not a
have
comma.
space for a hyphen, L.E. Johnson Road, and by the way, road doesn't need to be, capitalized.
It does, because it's right of way.
Oh, that's stupid, why don't we just call it road?
Because it's announcing a right of way.
Right. I can't argue all this stuff, but,
I kind of agree with you. It's
but-
a little convoluted, but.
it is convoluted, and we could just name it L.E. Johnson Lane.
No, that.
It's a lane.
No,
We
it's
already
not.
have alleys that were converted to streets, but you can't use street or avenue. So they've always used row for an alley that's now converted to a right-of-way.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I don't think it should be in all caps. I'm sure that Nutting Row is not in all caps.
No,
okay,
I'm
well,
not sure I'm hearing this is ready for discussion, for action
I'm
next
just
time.
saying that if people look at it, go L.E. Johnson, who in the world is L.E. Johnson? But if you put a hyphen there, you go, oh, Liver Eaton Johnson, because he's, he's the dude,
I think if I saw L.E. Johnson, I would be like what Patty said, like French, like.
I
Liz Johnson.
I read it as Lee. I was like, who's Lee Johnson?
Was there?
At the end of the day, like, I also don't know who Villard is, or Villard,
Well, he's a
or
railroad
Hauser. And again, it's,
I know
I
who
think
they
it's
were.
a little bit, I think what we're trying to do is clean. I hear your point,
Thank
but
you.
I think a big part of this is not everyone's gonna know who Liver Eaton Johnson is. Also, not anyone's gonna probably remember who Jim Bridger was. You don't necessarily know. Like, not everyone's gonna know how to say Joliet. And so
Or
I think
Villard.
having the hyphen only pleases the people who know.
For
And
that,
I think it
yeah.
also is a street that I didn't even realize existed. I think.
It's not a street, it's a right of way.
You're right, it's a right of way.
But
So again, I fear
it's a
that,
simple little thing, put a hyphen.
I am saying what I fear is that little hyphen becomes more than just this resolution. It becomes
Every house,
every house,
every loan.
every document, every loan, everything recorded with the county. Again, if we can, us,
Insurance
just this
policies.
piece of paper conform to all the other pieces, it will save a million headaches.
You lost me at conform.
If we put a hyphen in there, they'll have to change it on the county, and they'll have to change
on the
it,
insurance policies.
and they'll have to change it on their mortgage docs, they'll have to
Title
change
insurance.
it on all of
And
their.
their driver's license, it's very similar to when we talked about renaming the streets over off of, instead of having, what was it? Having the Beartooth Street, or Mount Grace Street.
Oh, no, this one.
Since
Okay.
you just said, who's Lee Johnson? I mean, we're not honoring Lee Johnson, we're honoring Liver Eaton Johnson.
Well, and I realize that. Yeah, and I 100%, I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird, but then at the same time, I don't want to
Who's gonna notice?
recreate, no one's gonna notice. Like,
I don't
I'm
think Liver
completely-
Eaton Johnson's gonna notice, nor do I think his relatives are going to, I only get one profanity.
Well,
I
You really,
used it.
you really
Finance.
don't, that was a charge to your account.
It has been L.E. Johnson Row everywhere except here for the last 6 or 7 years.
I
We
agree.
are the only ones that have not actually accepted it, and this is us accepting what the rest of everyone has said it is.
I think it's just cleaning it up. Let's clean it up and call it good.
Do I have 4 yeses going into the next meeting, do you
Yes.
suppose?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll get your 5 votes tonight, don't worry about
Fine.
me.
Oh, we don't even have a resolution number,
Yeah.
so I'm genuinely hoping that next council meeting, we have like relatives or descendants of Liver Eaton Johnson come here and yell at me.
That's perfect.
That would be
Yes.
delightful, like, but I just don't think we're gonna be there.
I
Challenge accepted.
I
I don't foresee
disagree,
that.
but that's
Okay,
fine.
I'm gonna do a quick straw poll. On the agenda next week, yes or no?
Yeah.
yes.
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 Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not
All
gonna
right,
vote-
we will move it forward.
I'm not gonna vote for
There
it,
is-
but you can put it on the
no,
agenda.
there we go. There is 2 weeks to work with staff, so if you get a phone call from Brian or the attorney, we'll see if there's a way that we can come forward. We'll move it forward, we'll see if there's a way that we can address the concerns.
The man killed 300 Crow Indians, why are we honoring him in the first place? But,
Okay.
don't get me started.
No, I know, I was gonna say, I don't care,
Because
we
he
spell
was
his
our-
name wrong, or, but,
Because he was our first sheriff.
I know, I'm just, they made amends at the end, I know, but still. Anyway, I'm done.
Right to your opinion.
Offered to give them their liver back? How do you make amends at that point?
Well, I don't,
I'll get
I'm
some white
curious.
duct tape
That
when we
way-
get the signs up, and we'll put a hyphen in there.
You know that,
She's
a
gonna
lot
go
of that
around
was
it.
fake, that he really did not do that.
No.
It was all so that they would be.
PR?
All right,
It was all to freak out the
okay,
Indians.
otherwise, we've been talking about land use for the city. But we had a wonderful, lively conversation, and we are utilizing ChatGPT for flowcharts at this time.
Any other questions for land use and planning that council would like to ask? All right, hearing none, we'll go to our last standing committee, Public Works. And for that, we'll look to Committee Chair Ronning if she has any updates she would like to.
I think you covered most of it in your comments, unless there's something else that I forgot since it was right before this meeting.
Any questions for Public Works from,
Feel free to chime in, Ann and Cynthia, if there's anything that.
No, it was a pretty
It was a very quick meeting.
quick meeting. Turned up, I wasn't.
all right, correspondence, anything that anybody's received or would like to introduce, make the council aware of?
Just another letter from that group, up on the highway. If anyone knows them, I would suggest they start coming to the meetings.
That's the one that was included in the packet, correct,
Yes.
on the 78th?
They came last week, but then now but you know, if you want something done, you gotta come to the meeting.
And they said they were gonna talk to the state.
Yeah, 'cause it was a
Okay.
state
Yeah,
highway.
they're gonna
Okay,
talk to
We
the
had
all right,
it-
good.
we had
That's
it-
We can have a follow-up conversation with them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
any other correspondence or anything that would fall under correspondence?
School starts
All right,
now.
with that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to our last opportunity for public comment at tonight's meeting. I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. Again, this is the opportunity to address the council on anything within the council's purview. If you'll address your comments to me, they'll eavesdrop and listen in. I smacked my
How
computer
is
with
that
that.
entertaining?
You didn't need
Look,
that.
look to the chamber. Seeing no comments, we'll go to online. Any public comment online?
Oh.
All right,
Angie,
online, I see a camera
Angie?
for Angie Hazelworth. You have the floor for 3 minutes.
This will be quick. I have a suggestion for the L.E. Johnson street signs. To cut the red tape worries, just make a little plaque to put on that street that explains who L.E. Johnson is.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Wait, thank you, Angie.
All right, thank you. Any other public comment?
School starts.
School starts tomorrow?
I'm not public though. I just want people to be mindful.
Go ahead.
Just school starts tomorrow, so kindly, be cautious and aware of your driving and paying closer attention. Just being on autopilot for all those little kids and bicycles and stuff, so.
Thank you.
Especially if you're around Patty's kids.
Yeah, he's on his stomach on a skateboard.
That's a fair call out. That Red Lodge school starts tomorrow, so please be alert when driving. And adhering to all stop signs, speed limits, crosswalks, and other stuff.
And will we have extra patrols out and about?
I'm sure that they will be out looking for that, so.
All those new drivers.
All right, any
Yeah,
other public
exactly.
comment?
Oh, scary.
Any other items?
What's the motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Meeting adjourned.